Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. This is Moletrap, and I have Diggity here with me. What? What? Is that a dual commentary on Violetag account? What? We haven't seen any of those since the finals of last season. Yes, finally, we found an opportunity that we have actually the same schedule, some time where we can both commentate. So we're gonna be casting Group A of this MSL, the as yet unnamed MSL, and it's gonna start off with Jaedong versus Baby. Should be a fun match, and yeah, glad to finally be back on doing some duels here. It's been too long. We are gonna have some duels actually going up, probably of the Winners League finals. Ranshin and Nuke the Stars are gonna be doing some stuff on here as well. So watch out for that in the next couple days. And just to warn y'alls, both Diggity and I are sick. We both have colds. I'm just starting one, and he is coming off of the plague. So apologize for any quality problems in our voices or whatever. Anyway, we got Baby starting off in the Terran at the top, and Jaedong is of course the Zerg in the bottom right corner. This is a new map called Triathlon, which we'll talk a little bit more about as we get into the game and see more of it.
Yeah, I feel like this map is going to invite some of that fantasy vulture drop sort of play just because you have that back expansion which is isolated by cloaked, yes, there's the Arbiter, the cloaked lurker eggs. Yeah, how they're just getting kind of crazy with everything now. I don't know. The mappers just must get bored. But anyway, just in case I missed the colors, Jaedong in white, Baby in purple. And this is going to be a pretty significant revenge match because Baby was able to take out Jaedong in the OSL. I actually missed those games because while I've been ill for the past 2.5, 3 weeks, I've kind of weaned myself off everything StarCraft because I knew I would basically, actually part when I was just starting to get sick, one of the things I tried to do was consistently try to cast, which just would make me cough more and make it worse. So yeah, I just had to stop watching everything. But anyway, yeah, it'll be interesting to see if Baby can once again return and beat Jaedong. I think that'd be pretty significant. It looks like Baby is in fact thinking about some sort of hybrid mech, probably some sort of tech build here, because he is grabbing that gas first.
Yeah, yeah, it's interesting he's grabbing that gas first. And by the way, I did watch the Jaedong Baby games when he actually defeated Jaedong in the OSL, and they were not cheese, you know. It wasn't like Baby, you know, as a lesser player and he cheesed Jaedong out of it. It was just that Jaedong was not on top of his game that day, and Baby beat him straight up games, 2-1, standard games. And so this is, you know, Jaedong's chance to get back into it. And here he is, of course, coincidentally facing the same guy who knocked him out of the OSL in the MSL, which I think is kind of crazy. And he does have that factory going up. So it looks like he is going to either mech, or it's possible he could just be going for a fast vessel build as well, and he's just going to get out some vultures for harassment of some kind. Real quick about the map, by the way. Basically, yeah, there's these cloaked lurker egg fields that are around the map, and there's one in back of your base that leads to another expansion that's on the same level. So if you wanted, you could. It's kind of like Outsider in that fashion, where you can squeeze a probe through and get another base that's a little bit protected, but then you can't actually reinforce that base until you kill those lurker eggs. So it's kind of double-edged there. It's protected, but that also means it's vulnerable at the same time. And we do see 2 starports going up here, and no more racks. So he is going to go for a Wraith build. Baby going for a Wraith build here. 2-port Wraith. This is going to be really interesting to see how this goes because Jaedong doesn't have a whole lot of clue about what's going on here. Okay, he does know at least something of it because he's building that sunken colony. Okay, he did send in an Overlord. I think he saw those starports with the Overlord. I think he knows exactly what's coming. We're probably going to see a den pretty soon. And to hopefully, I think he saw it. I could be wrong, but he's putting up his lair right now. If he didn't see it, he's going to be in a little bit of trouble when those raids come if he doesn't have any anti-air.
I really like what kind of Baby playing a little bit tricky here. He built that factory towards his front door to show that to Jaedong, to maybe make him think, oh, okay, Vulture incoming, whatnot. In the meantime, he's playing extremely risky, not even building a single Marine. He did not have a single Marine.
Oh
out
my
there
gosh, I didn't
anywhere
realize
to
that.
just try to brush that Overlord back or anything that. So he's really skipping to the short on this build. In the meantime, moving, and we'll see if Jaedong, yeah, he does have that Hydro Stem, but honestly, I think he's going to be able to push this Director Lair Tech as well, and Baby's going to have a really hard time defending that expansion over there against Mutalisks if Jaedong does just hold off
Yeah.
with the Hydralisks and then shift back.
Yeah, exactly. So Baby has taken that expansion that I was talking about that's behind the eggs. So the eggs are hard to beat down with normal units. It takes a long time if you're just using Marines or Hydras or something like that. You kind of need splash units to get through them very quickly. So I think you're exactly right. If Jaedong gets his Spire up, then Baby's going to be in a world of pain because he won't be able to run his Marines back there to reinforce whatever turrets he builds in that location. Jaedong is sending his Overlord kind of around the long way, so he's going to spot that expansion anyways. I think he probably suspects it at this point. He does have the den up. He obviously sees the raids already. So it's going to be kind of come down to how well Jaedong can defend it. At this point, he's doing pretty well. He's got like a couple Hydralisks here and there, just enough to keep those Wraiths at bay. So I don't think Baby's really going to be able to accomplish anything with this rush other than to get that expansion up quickly.
Yeah, this is kind of interesting play because he knew he was going to have some sort of anti-air out there to defend against Mutalisks anyway. And Jaedong instead opting to, I'm kind of curious about this, instead of going for the Mutalisks, instead just going to stick to Hydralisks, and he's just going to try to play it from there. He's already got the Evolution Chamber down to get the weapons upgrade. You can see Baby playing a little bit safe, worried that Jaedong's going to pressure him right here. He got some pretty good scouting off. Also not seeing an additional expansion being taken. Looks like that Arbiter is going to get taken out by those Hydralisks, and Jaedong's going to be able to take a third. The one thing I worry about Baby here is, yes, he's going to be able to take a second base, but with that third base so nearby, even if, even let's pretend Jaedong takes this third significantly late. He still has that third fairly close by. He can still mine off it pretty well. So all he has to do is make sure that these Wraith don't really do a lot of damage. And those Wraith basically feel like dead weight. I mean, yeah, he's got another expansion, but at the same time, he's not producing siege tanks. Well, it looks like he's got a factory up now to do just that. But he's not producing a lot of the core units he's going to need. I feel like Jaedong's going to be able to continue to progress his tech, and he can kind of just take that extra base at leisure.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's correct. And Jaedong is also, I mean, even if he's been a little bit off his game lately, apparently, he's very, very, very good at micring versus raids, getting those fast overlords out, and micring raids, having some scourge alongside, picking off the wraiths, and then letting his mutalisks do the damage. He's can be very good at that. Basically, point being, he's good at defending against what Baby's doing with this mass wraith thing. I wonder if does he have a spire morphing somewhere? Because I see a lot of Alarva being saved up. So unless he lost an overlord, no, there's some lurkers going on actually in the middle field. So he's decided not to go for mutas at this point, and he's going to go for just Hydra lurk, and those are going to be very powerful against wraiths. Wraiths obviously not doing enough damage to do too well against mass hydras. Although we did see him switching over a little bit, building a machine shop and getting some more marines and that kind of thing. So Baby might be switching tech also.
It's kind of odd. I'm curious why Jaedong decided to take that 9 o'clock expansion rather than taking the egg expansion and just kind of working his way up that right-hand side of the map. Being really aggressive taking that 9 o'clock. I guess part of the issue is there's nothing Baby can really do about it at this stage. Baby's kind of shelled up. You can see he's even got that barracks near his main just in case facing a drop or something. Able to pick off one Overlord. But this really isn't going to hurt Baby too much. You can see Jaedong actually probably moving up for a drop right here. He's got several Overlords moving up. They are speed upgraded. A lot of Hydralisks, a lot of Lurkers. Then he's moving out towards, I think, that corner expansion. He's basically going to exploit the fact that Baby is going to have a lot of difficulty trying to defend that island. If he gets some units up there, there's basically nothing Baby can do until he gets basically some siege tanks, a lot of stuff to break those eggs down.
Yeah, he's gonna be in a lot of trouble because if Jaedong drops on that, and it looks like he has loaded up those overlords, is he gonna be able to pick off the overlords as they're in transit? Almost is able to. Jaedong sees it at the last moment and falls back a little bit. He loses two overlords almost full of units. He only gets one Hydra out of there. So Jaedong actually losing a significant portion of that force before he could even get that drop off. And that's really, really crucial by Baby. By Baby, ha ha ha. Because if that drop had gotten off, there would be basically no way he could defend it unless he has some siege tanks out. I don't know if he's taken the time to break down those eggs or not. But he would have just probably had to defend just with wraiths. That left side base there. Jaedong now taking a fourth base at the 6 o'clock position, by the way. It's almost done, I believe. So he is going to be able to put out a ton of stuff as soon as he gets some drones on those bases. Especially with Baby only at 2, it's going to be tough for him to catch up because there's not really a lot of places he can go. He's going to have to push down his ramp, and then he's going to have a lot of space to cover against these drops and potentially mutilisks that can assault him all the way across the top of the map.
Really, I think Jaedong should have done this earlier. Let's see if Baby decides to turn around with some drop ships of his own. But yeah, I think Jaedong actually should have just not bothered upgrading the drop, should have not bothered going for that attack, just brought some Hydralisks up to that corner position to make sure the Wraith had to stay back, just for while he's taking expansions essentially, and do exactly this, just drone up, work some. I really like the way by.Baby's microing this though. He's doing a beautiful job of keeping that drone count low. But yeah, Jaedong has control over the map. The Wraiths aren't going to run out and do anything. I don't see Baby just unsieging and attack moving and having any success. So I guess part of the thing for Jaedong though is to keep that psychological drop factor that Baby can't move out, because if he does, he's going to end up losing a lot there. But still, I think Jaedong should have just gone straight for taking all over the map. He might even be able to sneak in another expansion out of this, but it looks like he's going to stick to the 2. Continue breaking down these eggs, and just basically make sure once Baby comes out, there's no more bases to take. He's going to have to do it 2 bases versus 4.
Wow, Defiler's coming out now as well. Yeah, he is now doing a good job now that Jaedong is more spread out. Baby's doing a really good job of running those Wraiths around to various places and picking off what he can, picking off drones, that kind of thing. So good on him, but Defiler tech is going to be coming out soon. And then it's going to be really, really tough for Baby to do anything. I mean, he has siege tanks at least, and siege tanks obviously very good it's funny to see those eggs like appearing as the Overlord ran over them. Siege tanks are going to be actually pretty good against the even against this Dark Swarm on top of Lurkers and Hydras. But yeah, Jaedong's just kind of taking the map right now. And okay, here we go. Some vultures coming out to do some harassment. This is Baby is doing very well at harassing, at least. He's gotten those wraiths all over the map harassing, and he hasn't had to spend a lot on them after all, actually. He bought 7 or 8 wraiths, and then has kind of kept them alive the whole time.
Denied.
So yeah, and so it's good that he's sending out the vultures, but yeah, doesn't get anything done with the vultures, though.
Looks like Baby's finally making a move. Moved out. He's taken that expansion in the meantime in the upper right-hand corner. So it is essentially 4 bases versus what I think is soon going to be 5, because Jaedong's in a good position at that 9 o'clock position to take that. He's still got that 3 o'clock base. All he has to do is make sure, it looks like he's going the mass route versus mech, is make sure, yeah, he has enough mass with the Hydralisks, with the Lurkers, with the Swarm, that he can just kind of pound, and I do think he has resources to do that on Baby's position. And again, I feel like if Baby just tries to slow play this and play a long-term economic game, that Jaedong is just going to have way too many resources. He's going to be able to replenish the forces. He's going to be able to send drops up that right-hand side. So I worry just trying to play this maxed, slow, big mech army style that Baby's trying to play, especially off such what feels like a low resource count. Although if Jaedong does let him sit on, well, there's that nearby 4th base, which Baby still hasn't taken. If he lets Baby take that 4th base and just sit on it, then Jaedong might be in a bit of trouble, because yeah, if you got a ton of resources, got to do something with it.
I'm actually thinking that Baby is in a good position here because he is setting up to take that 4th base. We see him running around putting mines out in the field, and he's using the wraiths to pick off the overlords, which obviously protect the wraiths, but also are going to protect against those mines being blown up. Hopefully, Jaedong will at least be smart enough to send out some lings to try and soak up mines or something along those lines. But he is using vultures to try and set up these minefields. He's pretty much secured that 4th base. There's a lot of purple in that area on the minimap, so he may even have it. He's sending in a single overlord to scout the direction to see if he can get in there safely. That Barracks is going to spot a few Hydralisks dropping out. Is he going to see that clump of Overlords there, though? There's more Hydras on that ridge. He's moving the Overlords away, so he's not going to be able to see those Overlords. So Baby has no idea that this huge drop is coming. He just saw that one drop, that one Overlord with a few Hydras in it, and he's moving out. So he is going to be nowhere near his base to defend if this drop goes off. Question is, will Jaedong get the drop? He'll probably go for the drop anyway, but he's going to have to defend his own base as well, and that is a lot of tanks. It is going to be tough to run over that many tanks with mines and wraiths to support.
Yeah, let's see if he can do some good swarm, do some good playing. It looks like Baby, now realizing the drop going off, is actually going to bring his troops back.
Oh,
Lurkers with
nice.
swarm, devastating. The SCVs having to flee. Baby lifting off a base, and this is going to delay his hopes to just get that gigantic mech army with the high upgrades and just push out once he has tons of resources. Looks like he's actually taking some free damage. And Jaedong has some troops there. It looks like hanging out at the 6 o'clock, so it looks like he was ready momentarily there for the counterattack. He's going to lose some overlords here. But really, it's definitely worth it to stop this mining time and basically to get the bonus of killing, it looks like a couple tanks, because Baby just sitting there letting them get hit.
Yeah, it looks like Baby just kind of A-moved his army back there. They were not quite far enough out to really be too far to get back. And so if Jaedong had delayed that attack even another 10 seconds, then they would have been too far out. Then he would have had his own door to contend with, of course. But um, yeah, Jaedong basically not he didn't take out enough, I don't think, for what that drop cost him. And here comes Jaedong counterattacking, coming in with swarms, lurkers. The mines are devastating. The amount of lurkers that actually get through to the front, and not many lurkers get through. And now there's hydralisks underneath the swarm as well. But with so many siege tanks, the swarm does very little, and all of those forces get slaughtered with only the loss of I didn't even see any tanks die. Maybe there was one or two and some vultures. So Jaedong losing an entire force to kill a few SCVs and a couple tanks at the drop, and now losing another entire force to kill a few vultures. He sure has 5 bases. He has 5 bases, but he needs to be a little bit more cost effective nonetheless if he's gonna win the game, because Baby now has 4 bases and is winning these fights.
A little bit of snacky talk falling in there. Looks like, but yeah, Baby has managed to secure that additional base. I was worried about those mines in the last fight. Looks like a little pithy drop right there getting cleaned up. But I was worried about the mine placement in that last fight. If Jaedong had the presence of mind to move a lot of his Hydralisks, just run them right into the tanks, that could have been absolutely devastating. It might have just turned that battle right around. Instead, having to fall back, it looks like, and deal with these vultures that are going all over the field now. And now I have to say, yeah, it looks like Baby's got traction. He's got the 4th base. He's got a large army that's starting to press forward. And Jaedong not engaging, not able to get anything done with his attacks. Looks like there's still lurkers. There's still swarm out in the field. This is going to send it back. But, oh, nice play. But Baby's still just content to just to move all the way back across the field, come back, repair it. That's fine. It's necessary. You got to have the Plague Ooze somewhere in StarCraft. Anyway. But still, Jaedong has a lot of bases. He's got a lot of gas. He's got the Ultralisks coming. I still think he can produce a lot of mass, so I don't know how much time Baby's going to have before Jaedong's able just to switch those larvae over to a very, very large attack force and just start destroying everything that's out on the field.
Yeah, I hope he's saving up for something, because he has 5 gas, which is ridiculous, but he's not using it particularly well. I mean, he's going mass hydras against tanks, which are the counter to mass hydras, and he's not switching up at all. There's no Goliaths on the field. He hasn't even. I mean, it's hard to switch to mutas, because if there's any Goliaths and you haven't been upgrading your mutas, then they don't do enough damage to really be worth it. But he needs to do something to at least force him to have a few Goliaths against these hydras or something like that, or get some lings in the mix so that he can get up close to the tanks and do some mine drags, or at least soak up some mines at the very least. And cracklings could be so cost effective as well. I'm really surprised he's not using any of those, especially. Oh, nice little drop coming in here. Jaedong does not have a lot to defend this. He may end up taking some damage at the base, and at the same time, he's broken through Jaedong's line and is now assaulting his far left base. He's got a Nidus there. He's trying to pump some forces out of that Nidus to try and push this back. There's only Goliaths up the hill, but there are tanks reinforced from behind and holding that ramp rather. Anything that tries to come down that ramp is... Oh, nice plague again on those tanks. Beautifully done. And there's some lings coming out finally to take out those tanks, saving that base. I'm really surprised he's not using more cracklings. They can be so effective. I mean, it's 50 minerals for 2 little rabid, crazy things that just run all over the place and attack super fast, and you can make a dozen of them really cheap at this stage of the game, and they can do so much damage if you assault, if you drop them in a vulnerable location. There we go. Jaedong's listening to me from the future, or from the past. He's loading up a drop with a few hydras and some cracklings.
Control.
That's right. Anyway, but Baby just took a freaking 5th base, and he's looking to take a 6th, I think.
Wow, it looks like an Overlord gonna suicide into those turrets. It might have had a couple Zerglings. I like the Hydra Zergling bombs that usually you see the
Yeah.
Zealot bombs, but yeah, just using pithy units to drop over that tank line. A couple SCVs mining there, but I gotta say this turn of events is not in Jaedong's favor. Baby has a tank isolation force blocking him at the 9 o'clock. Looks like he's going to start threatening it and pushing in. He does have a Mutalisk Scout, and it doesn't look like there's one Goliath moving up,
Oh.
which, ooh,
Oh.
with that Plague and that one damage, able to take out a lot of those tanks. I didn't realize that he had plagued that many tanks, so able to hurt this contain. But because he is essentially taking that base right on the corner, he's able to attack, defend, and press forward, and wow! Another beautiful drop at the 3 o'clock. Unfortunately, a swarm right there, so Jaedong well prepared for it. Going to be able to load back up, but still, Baby's putting on a show. He's putting attack forces absolutely everywhere, keeping Jaedong very off balance. I like the way he's controlling the map. I like the way he's setting up his kind of perimeter. And let's see if it's going to be enough to keep Jaedong's economy slow enough for Baby basically to have the much larger massive force before you see a big never mind.
Oh wow. There's the swarm of 5-3 ultras. Those suckers are fully upgraded, ladies and gentlemen. It looks like the mech is at 2-3, I believe. So the mech is pretty much fully upgraded as well. So it's pretty much going to be an even battle. Except, I don't know, it's going to come down to army composition and tactics here. And here comes a huge force of ultras. He's coming and he's going to try and break that location. He's trying to break into a choke point there. The Goliaths, distracted by the ultralists, are not able to defend the science vessel. It looks like the ultras do get taken out by the mass tanks. Mass tanks are pretty much the answer to ultralisks, and he already has them when the ultralisks come out. Really, it's almost a mistake by Jaedong. The ultralisks soak up a lot of damage, but you have to have the Zerglings or at least some Hydralisks alongside them to really get in and use the fact and make use of the fact that those Ultralisks have taken so much damage, and he wasn't really attacking in combination, but it may have just been a desperation attempt as well, since he realized he was about to lose this 9 o'clock base, and if he does, it's going to be 5 bases to 4, and there's not going to be any coming back from that unless he has a bunch saved up or something like that. It's going to be really tough, and so he's basically trying to defend that 9 o'clock with his life.
Yeah, it looks like he's already lost the gas there, which is critical. Some Ultra's able to run up there and force some splash damage on the own tanks, but looks like that command center is going to be content just to float away, take that natural expansion and kind of reset up. But what that does leave, that leaves that upper left-hand corner somewhat vulnerable if the Ultras decide to make a kind of a shoot pattern up that direction. So you can see it's kind of on screen there. I think the egg still might be in place there. I'm not positive, but I do
Oh.
think there's still an egg wall along there to help defend it. But yeah, right now Jaedong, his economy, where it was in excellent condition before, is starting to get whittled down. Baby's still able to expand here and there. And really, I think the better counter to Ultralisks is this right here, is Spider Mines.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely everywhere, because the Ultralisks take a ton of damage from it. They already need kind of, really you need Swarm and you need everything, Zerglings to support really to make them effective as well. It's so unfair. Zerg needs all this stuff and all Terran needs is mass. But I guess I won't continue to. It's a balanced game. It's been going for 10 years. Whatever. It's not like StarCraft 2 beta where people can complain. Who knows? 3 health position though. Really, Baby's doing a
Drone
fantastic
bombs.
job doing just denying gas. And I think that's what's been really critical for Baby right now is his Jaedong is at 2 depleted gas now and the 6 o'clock. And he's not going to be able to contend with this army at that, basically with that sort of composite, with, well, that mineral intake right now. So Baby, I think, is pulled far ahead through some very nice maneuvers. Yes, he lost that upper left-hand corner, but he can honestly sacrifice that at this stage because it's more important that he denies Jaedong gas than he has just that little extra expansion there.
Yeah, he's still barely got some money left at his expansion below his ramp in the top right. He's got that fourth base up, a little bit down on the left of that, and now he's got that 9 o'clock base as well. So Baby has 3 good bases going. Jaedong has kind of 2 good bases, and he's just lost his other third good base. So Baby has a much better economy at this point, and he has the potential to just land that CC and take another base as soon as he feels like cleaning up that one Ultralisk and that one Defiler. But yeah, you're right. Jaedong is down to having very little gas, and we just saw there's only one drone on that gas mine at the 3 o'clock position is what it looked like. So he does not have a bunch of gas coming in, so there's no way he can support all these high-tech units that he's been making with the Ultralisks and what have you. He's not going to be able to come out with another dozen Ultralisks. which saved him the last time Baby kind of made a push, and now Baby making another base at the 9 o'clock. So he is just getting huge. He's taking over everything.
Yeah, it's crazy because you have the vultures, which are extremely cost-effective, extremely cheap. Baby can continue to work there. It looks you can see Jaedong just desperately trying to take that command center out, desperately trying to slow Baby's economy down, not able to take the command center out, and he's just trying to contend at multiple points. You can just see the desperation here. He's engaging just all over the place as best he can, when really what he needs to be doing is getting himself another gas, and he just can't.
Yeah, he just can't get anything. I'm surprised he didn't take the bottom left corner earlier. Maybe he did and Baby shut it down, I'm not sure. But Baby now moving out with a very large mech army. And Jaedong, without much money in the bank, has had to switch back over to more Hydras. He's still got a few Ultras mixed in at least, which are good for taking those hits, letting his Hydras get a little bit closer. He's pushing Baby back a little bit, actually. He's got some swarms down as well. This is what Jaedong needed to have done this whole time, is mix his units and do some tactics, putting down swarms in the right places. And a nice plague as well, but now his army just gets whittled down in that whole backpedal by Baby, and finally it was whittled down so much that Baby kind of turned and decided to face him instead of falling back. And now Jaedong's going to be on the defensive again, and Jaedong really needs to kind of take out more bases of Baby's, like now, like 5 minutes ago. He needed to take out more bases if he's going to get back into this, because oh man, now pushing in at this new base here, which I didn't see actually before. It's probably not that new actually, but if he loses that, he's going to be down to like one and a half bases mining or something like that. And Baby now with a 6th base, I think. It's just ridiculous. I mean, he's playing Sauron Terran right now. And I'm not sure if I've lost Diggity, so since there's not much time left in the commentary, I'm just going to finish it off here by myself then. Yeah, so Baby now moving in close to Jaedong's natural expansion now. It's going to be just a matter of time, I think, at this point. Jaedong setting an overlord out. I don't know what's in there. And then Diggity connecting to the ventrilo channel. Anyway, it's coming down to the wire, and Jaedong has basically no options left. He's just lost another base. Baby has so many bases, it's ridiculous. He's going to try and just drop a couple units over on the SCVs right now, which is what he needed to do about 10 minutes ago. This harassment like that, but it's a little bit too late now. Yeah, now he's going to lose that base. He's only mining at 6 o'clock, so he's going to be forced to GG here. There it is. GG! And the man, well, the boy who knocked Jaedong out of the OSL has now taken him to 1 game away from being knocked out of the early rounds of the MSL as well. Jaedong has got to be pissed both at Baby but more at himself right now. And wow, that was intense. Anyway, we're going to move on to game 2 of this group though, which is going to be Hyuk versus July Zerg. A couple interesting characters there. See you then.